Today we're going to talk about our good friend Lew Sterrett. Why? Because jail sucks. Now I get a lot of calls from people who have someone who's getting arrested and they say, hey, what do we do? And I just have to go through the same thing that I'm going to go through here with you, but I'm going to go through it in more detail with you. First thing you want to do is find out if they're there. And the best way to do that is to do a Google search for Dallas County Jail Lookup. Lookup's one word. Go to the official Dallas County Sheriff's website. Don't go to third parties. Then you do an inmate lookup. Now you can use a bookend number, but you probably don't have it yet because they just got arrested. So you want to put in their last name, their first name, and race, sex. When they get booked in initially, you won't see a mugshot, bookend photo. It won't be there. You click on it, you won't see their location, you won't see a charge listed, you won't see a bond amount, certainly. It takes time for that stuff to get into the system. And over time, if you keep checking back every 30 minutes, every couple of hours, you'll see that stuff start to populate in. And then the very last thing will be the bond amount. It won't be there until they see the judge. So how long does that take? It can take 6 hours, 12 hours. If they're slow, if they're backed up, if they're short-staffed, if the computers are down, you can call and ask me about it and I'll look into it if it's taken a long time. If they get moved from central intake to a tower, well, then they have to wait on that tower's schedule for the magistrate to do the arraignment. A lot of people call this arraignment. It's not arraignment. So our special guest has magistrates around the clock. There should be 2 of them there at all times. So they try to be efficient with their process. Now, one thing to keep in mind is if your person's charged with a felony and they've already got a pending felony out of Dallas County or a pending felony probation out of Dallas County, the only person who can set their bond on the new felony will be the trial court judge for one of those other cases. So if it's a weekend, earliest that can happen is Monday, and you need someone to help make it happen generally, whether it's a court-appointed attorney. Good luck getting a hold of them by phone. Sometimes that's not easy. And then also some judges are a little better about getting people in and getting bonds set on cases, but if you hire me on the case, I can go in there and start that process and see what the bond's going to turn out to be. Bonds can be anywhere from a PR bond where they just boot them out the door and say, hey, show back up. They usually do that on some of the smaller misdemeanors. Don't count on it. Most misdemeanors will be $500. They go up from there. Some of them are $1,500, $2,500 some of the assaults, and then felonies $1,500 and up. Sometimes they're $500. I've seen a $500 bond on a state jail felony, and then they can go up to millions of dollars depending on the circumstance. And then they can also hold them without bond. So if they're arrested for tickets, they won't even go to Lew Sterrett. They'll take them to a place called Detox. That's the nickname for it. It's the Dallas Marshal's office. It's in Deep Ellum. They've got a different phone number, different process. Call me. We can answer those questions if that's what happens. If they have tickets, Dallas County generally won't hold people on tickets. So don't worry about the tickets. Just worry about the county cases. Also, when they do get a bond set, you can post it several ways. If you have the money, if you have all the cash, you can just go straight there with your ID, your Texas ID, and the cash and post it there. The good thing about that is it's quick. You're in control of the process. You don't have to fill out a bunch of paperwork, and you get most of the money back when they're finished with court if they've shown up for their court dates. Bond companies are better in some ways because they're cheaper up front. You can get a premium paid on a bond for 10%, sometimes less. But be aware, they got to comply with that bond company's requirements, or the bond company can go off the bond and then they'll get a warrant reissued on their case. The bond will probably be higher next time and they could get stuck in jail and you lose the bond that you had. So be careful with the bond companies. The other thing that can happen is you go in, you fill out your paperwork, you give them the money, and they say, okay, we got to run this through the insurance company. We'll let you know. And then they call back and they may say, well, we need a better cosigner. We need someone who has a house or a stable job, or we need full collateral. Well, if it's full collateral, you might as well just post the cash bond. But then the other problem comes up if you say, well, I can't do those things. Just give me my money back and I'll try to find something else. They'll say, well, our manager's the only one who can give you the money back, and they won't be back until the morning or Monday morning sometimes if it's the weekend. So just be aware that kind of thing is something that can happen. If you go through someone like me, I have to be hired on the case, and then I can post bond as a part of that. So that is a good way to go a lot of times because it's quick and you don't have to fill out all the paperwork or worry about all those details. But once the case is complete, if you have posted a cash bond, you can get most of that money back. If you've posted a bond through me or the bond companies, no, that doesn't happen. It's only the cash bonds that work that way. On a misdemeanor, they generally will have a court date when they get out. It'll be a few weeks later. A lot of times those cases aren't ready. They're not filed when the case comes around. But again, another problem for another day. On felonies, they won't have a court date because the case will still need to be indicted before it can go to court. There's also other ways to get jail information. So you can go in person. You go up over here where the bus stop is on the sidewalk that goes up from Commerce between the jail and the courthouse. Don't go in the first turn on the left because that's Kay's Tower, South Tower. They won't give you information there. And they probably won't even buzz you in. Go all the way up the sidewalk till you get to the glass and metal awning that goes between the courthouse and the jail. And that's where you go into the left. You'll see red and green lights like stoplights at the bond windows. They generally don't want you going to the bond windows for information. They want you to go there to post the bond. So for information, you need to turn left and go to the guard tower, which is called Global. And there'll be a sheriff's deputy back there that can look somebody up, give you information. Just be sure you have the bookend number when you go there and be polite and try to communicate efficiently. If you've watched any of my other videos or TikToks, you may have seen Derek, my case handler. He is also a handler for jail releases. So not a case handler in that situation, just a handler. And what we mean by that is he will go when you're getting released or when your loved one is getting released. If you pay us an extra fee, he'll go out there and sit and wait on them and make sure that when they get out, they have the cigarette they may want. That's usually what a lot of people want when they get out. He'll also make sure they have a charged phone they can use to call or make arrangements. He'll give them a ride to where they need to go, make sure they're safe. And then if they've got an addiction, he'll try to keep them from engaging in that activity. Just generally help them and keep them safe and get them where they need to go as quickly as possible. And then explain, the process that they're about to go through. He's been through that process a number of times. He was one of my clients for a long time. And so he's turned his life around and has made himself very useful in my practice, and he's doing great. And he's a great resource for help. As always, if you have any questions, just feel free to call us. I know this stuff backwards and forwards. Derek does too, and we can help you answer questions and get the information you need. It's hard dealing with them and not knowing and not being able to find what you need, so just call us. It's the start of a process. It can take a long time, but we're here to help. If you don't know me, my name is David Traylor. What else do we need to know about Lew Sterrett? It's ugly. It's uncomfortable. It's not a lot of fun. They do have basketball. They have green bologna sandwiches. I don't know if they're green. Your food might get stolen, and jail sucks.